As you can see, water levels in Oklahoma are starting to drop, and as we get into a possible drought situation in Oklahoma, we need to start thinking about pond management. And Marley, what can we do to prevent any permanent damage to area ponds?
Well, mainly at this point, we're just planning for the year that's coming. There's not a whole lot now when temperatures are low that we can do. But as we get into a possible drought in some places, in some parts of the state, you need to keep an eye on the area of the pond. If it's really shrinking, then we might have to consider things like thinning out the fish population, because as the pond shrinks down in size, there's going to be less and less food for the fish to eat, and so we don't need them starving to death, out there needlessly. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing to worry about. I'd also worry about water quality a little bit. There may be more of a chance of low oxygen fish kills, so be aware of the signs of that.
So Marley, what would be some of the signs of a fish kill?
The classic sign are fish piping at the surface, hanging up close to the surface and mouthing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll see a change in the color of the pond becoming suddenly going from green to brown or green to clear. That can happen also, but that piping is a classic sign in the early morning.
Is there anything you can do to prevent a low oxygen fish kill?
It's difficult. Mm-hmm. You can try emergency aeration. An optimist will go out and try to get a pump set and splash some water up in the air and get some oxygen back into the water. A pessimist would just go out and get their fillet knife and try to harvest as many as they could to beat it. It's once people notice it in generally, when the fish are up piping at the surface, mm-hmm. it's usually a pretty serious situation. You may not have time to do much in the way of emergency aeration then.
So this would also be an opportunity to get rid of some of the undesirable fish in your pond also.
That's right. A pond that is populated by undesirable species like common carp or bullheads, in some cases crappie, may need to be renovated, and the most practical way to do that is to just pump the pond dry or drain it dry, make sure the bottom cracks, and then make plans for restocking with the right species and taking steps to keep those undesirable species out of the pond next time.
How long does it take to repopulate your pond usually? I know each pond is going to be a different size and take more time, but
you're going to have to be patient. Mm-hmm. It's going to take in the neighborhood of 3 to 4 years to get decent fishing back in your pond.
Okay. And as the water levels continue to shrink, this is a great time to get out and do some maintenance on the sides of your ponds.
Yes, it is an opportunity if the pond levels are really low, mm-hmm. and you've got a pond that has a shallowing problem on the edges. If you've got a really wide band of bulrush or cattails, this could be the time to get out there and deepen those edges, put in some 3-to-1 slopes like they were generally intended to be when the pond was first built, mm-hmm. and eliminate those weed-prone areas on the edges of the pond.
Okay. And there are fact sheets available to help out with this as well, right?
Yes, there are.
Okay. And you can find those fact sheets at our website, sunup.okstate.edu.